All right, to sum up our experience, and this is between the EnerGlow, the Garvey, and the Yulube, I'm going to talk about the pros and cons to each after we've done all of our tests, and we've done everything. We've sort of put everything to the limit. I think there are a few advantages and disadvantages that each one of these has, so let's talk about them. We're going to start with the Garvey. Now, the Garvey is going to win for economics. This has got the most value. This is the most affordable option while still keeping up in pretty much all of the categories. So if just pure value and economics is what you are after, I think this one is going to be the clear winner. Now, it had strong contention in some of the other categories as well. It had really good airflow. I really liked that the air came directly out of the front. I thought this was perfect for an office setting where I might have this next to me or nearby me, because just the way the airflow was angled, this was going to shoot right where you wanted it and be a very centralized and localized cooling effect. Now, it did have the lowest BTUs, and generally this is going to be rated for smaller rooms. That's 300, 350 square foot room. So good for an office if you have it pointed where you want, but it's probably not going to cool down your entire garage. All right, next on our list, we have the EnerGlow. Now, this won in a couple categories. I think this was probably pumping out the most cool air. It was pretty close, but just marginally. I think this one came out just slightly ahead of the other two. It was, however, noticeably quieter. The quietest setting of the EcoFlow was quite a bit softer. So if you're looking for something maybe overnight and you don't want loud noises, this is a solid option. It also included the biggest filter of all of them. And so if you're doing a lot of the dehumidifying or you're just trying to circulate your air, that very extra large filter is gonna help you out quite a bit. The last thing that this won on was the ease of installation. All of the parts basically already came together. I didn't have to do a bunch of extra screwing together. I could pretty much just set it up in the window and forget it, and we're good to go. And as a little added bonus, this was actually the only one that came with little foam guards around the edges. If you want to just make it a little bit extra secure, make it a little bit more sort of thermal regulated there in your window, it did automatically come with that, and this was actually the only one to come with those. All right, the last one on our list is this Yulube, and I'm sorry if I'm saying that brand name wrong, but I do think that it did come out the clear winner in a couple of categories. So as far as bells and whistles, this one won. It had the nice, sleek touchscreen. It has an app control ability, so you can download the app and use this wherever you want. You can preset it if you're at work and come home to something nice. You don't have to think ahead of time and set your timers. The other ones had that capability via timers, but they didn't have that easy app control, which I do think was a clear advantage to the Yulube. The Yulube is also the smallest, the lightest, and had the best handles. The other two had handles. The EnerGlow had two handles at the side, but it was a little bit heavier and the handles were kind of at a weird spot. The Garvey had one single handle in the back, so it was movable, but it wasn't the greatest. The Yulube was really the most portable. It had handles in exactly where I wanted them. They were easy to grab. And this was the lightest, and dimensionally it was the smallest. So this, I think, is the most portable option. It also had the longest tailpipe, and so you could be a little bit more creative in sort of placements. Now, I think that if you are using this for something like camping, something where you are actively going to be moving it quite a bit, I think the Yulube is going to come out ahead of the other two if that is your main goal. I think if you have a small office, I'll probably go back to the Garvey option. I think this was the most economical, and it would blow the air exactly where you wanted it, which I really liked, again, for that small office. If you have maybe a larger space, or perhaps like a big master bedroom, something like that, where maybe you want something quiet, I think the EnerGlow was probably going to be the best option. Again, they are all very close. There's not a definite clear winner overall. I think they each have their advantages depending on what you plan on using them for. So those are all of our tests. Hopefully that helps you make a better informed buying decision.